Internets, I gotta put you on to something, okay? You know how much I love Goodfellas. You know how much I love Donnie Brasco, Bronx Tale, okay? Casino. And more importantly, you know how much I love The Sopranos. Well, I'm super excited to announce something that you need to be at, okay? I don't care if you live in London, you better book your flight. If you live in Moscow, you better book your flight. Okay, just don't take Spirit, okay? Because it's not good. They charge you to breathe. Internets, I present to you Sopranos Con. That's right. Sopranos Con, November 23rd and 24th at the Meadowlands Exposition Center. That's November 23rd and 24th. Sopranos Con is going down. Over 40 cast members, okay? Uncle Junior? Yeah, he'll be there. Paulie Walnuts? Yes, sir. Johnny Sack? Mm-hmm. Big Pussy? Furio? Man, even Pyomai. Know the horse? Yeah. Pyomai is still alive, and it will be there. Internets, go to sopranoscon.com right now. Check them out for more info, for tickets. I'm going to be there, okay? I'm doing a show from there. I'm doing a panel. There's going to be a bunch of people in the building. It's going to be, listen, you know what they're also going to have? Tony Soprano's Escalade. Yes, that'll be there. The car that Silvio got shot in, you know, with all the bullets in it, the great, oh yeah, that'll be there. Internets, it's going to be a fucking movie, man. One of the greatest TV shows ever, Sopranos, celebrating almost 21 years, you know, pretty soon. Sopranos Con, come there. Come check me, okay? Come hang with me. Come hang with all the good fellas. SopranosCon.com, November 23rd, November 24th. Be there. Cheer. Microphone checker. Before we get to this week's episode, man, Internet, let me tell you something. I want to give you a shout. I've been traveling and moving around, and I always try to make sure I could check in with you guys and get on the beginning of an episode and talk to you and let you know what's going on. You know, sometimes I want to be Pastor Pete. Sometimes I just want to update you what I got going on in my life. I know you just heard Sopranos Con is coming. I'm excited about that. You know, I'm just chilling with my family, working on a bunch of projects. I'm really excited, man. I'm really excited for a lot of things. More importantly, just to check in with everybody, let them know what's going on. Internets, you know when I tell you, open up your Twitter app, open up your Instagram app, at Premium Pete Show. You know I love it when you check the fuck in. Let me know who you're listening to. I love when Chicago checks in, Detroit, always international. I seen Italy. You know, I see Nova Scotia, okay? Man, Benson, you never know who the fuck is going to be checking in, but people worldwide are on the check-in, and I appreciate them, okay? And before we get to this week's episode, you know, sometimes I'm Pastor Pete on Instagram and Twitter, at Premium Pete. I want to leave you with something, man. You know, I always like to tell you what I got going on or give you something to keep your day going. The other day I put in, it costs $0 to keep it real, and who doesn't like free shit, okay? Now, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. It costs $0 to keep it real, and who doesn't like free shit? Internets, let me tell you something. Surround yourself, okay? Surround yourself with people who will always keep it real with you. Those are the people you want to surround yourself with. Now, let me tell you something, man. This week's episode, okay, actually, you know what? Before I even say that, make sure you rate, subscribe, and tell a friend, okay? Suggest an episode that you like. Dig in the catalog, man. You know, we got everybody from Ice-T to fucking the founder of Venmo, okay? If you know an episode that is good for somebody, a producer, an entrepreneur, whoever, send it to them. But also, don't forget to rate. Leave a comment. Tell a friend and dig in the catalog. Now, here we go. Something very special, okay? Little Brother is back. And, you know, I was very honored when they reached out to me and wanted to come and sit down. Me, A King, Phonte, rapper Big Pooh, unfiltered, okay? There's a couple of, stops they made, and you want them to push what they're doing. But I promise you, this is the only Little Brother episode you need to listen to. Very unfiltered, very powerful. It's just good to hear the good brothers back. Combat loved them so much. And, man, I don't even need to say anything anymore, okay? Internets, I present to you the Little Brother episode of the Premium Pete Show. Let's get to it. CHEA.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Fat Man Scoop, the undisputed voice of the club, the two-time Grammy Award winner. Let me make this official for you. Fat Man Scoop, Corkman Clan, Internets. It's time to go with my dude, Premium Pete. Let's get focused. Let's go, Internets. Let's turn up. One time, Premium Pete.
Come on, everybody get set, let's go. It's the next episode. It's the Premium Pete Show. News, interviews, all of the info. Listen up, it's the Premium Pete Show. If you want the scoop in the low, down low, listen to the show, cause Milk said so. Fuck what you heard, better act like you know. It's the Premium Pete Show.
Yes, indeed.
Internets, welcome back to another episode of the Premium Pete Show. Man, this is a very special episode for so many reasons. One, mainly because our brother, Combat Jack, Reggie Osei, rest in peace. I know, we did episodes with rapper Big Pooh, and Combat did one with Phonte separately. Pause, they never did them both together. I know it's something that King, I know it's something that he...
was thirsty pause, bro.
That was a little thirsty. But I feel like he would appreciate that. I always think of what Combat would say, meaning like about how there's two artists, two acts that really revived his career after he left the whole law game and was like, yo, is this hip-hop shit dead? And that was MF Doom and Little Brother.
Facts.
And this is something that he continuously said. And obviously, he's in one of the tracks, shouted out. I mean, these guys are back in action. I can't even believe it. Phonte, rapper Big Pooh, Little Brother is in the building.
Indeed. Yeah, thank y'all for having us. This is
thank you, man.
This is crazy. This is big. And when I was on last time, me and King, we were talking. One of the last time I actually saw Reg, it was in North Carolina. It was in Durham, and we were doing. It was the Article Festival, which was like in 2017, I think, 16. I can't remember. I think it was 17. But anyway, we saw him there, and Just was doing a beat set.
Okay.
He was just playing, beats, and he was DJing whatever. And I just came up and just spit a rhyme, you know what I'm saying? And just spit a rhyme, that was it.
That's what we do here.
Yeah, man. I just got up, spit, and that was, spit with Just. And so Combat was there, and I saw him, and he was like, oh, you killed that shit. And he gave me a hug, and he was like, yo, man, I love you, man. Just thank you for saving my life. You don't understand, like, what you did. And I was like, yo, I love you too, bro. Like, for real, thank you. And that was it. And that was the last time I saw him, man. That was the last time we saw each other. And that was just a thought that stayed with me all through the making of this album, just because we're at a point in life where you never know when is the last time you're going to see somebody. You never know how divergent your paths are going to be. Even if you're working in the same industry, even if your peers or whatever, you just never know. And, man, that was just something, we calling the album May the Lord Watch. It was just really a thing of, with me and Pooh and just kind of chronicling our journey. This may be the last time we get to do this. You never know. So if this is the last time, I hope that the Lord, it's an issue of good tidings. Like, listen, if this is our last time seeing each other or doing this or whatever, I wish you well. May the Lord watch over you and your family, and, blessings. I send love to you. And, man, Combat was just one of those dudes who just really embodied the best of what this industry had to offer. And it was really rare that you would meet someone like that who just genuinely had pure just love and just joy, exuberance. Yeah, just emanating from him. You know what I mean? And losing him was something that I think about every day. It just even after we saw each other when he got diagnosed, and we would just text and stuff. And he was going through his divorce and all that, and we would just shout each other out. And I would just say, yo, man, like, if you ever need to rap, because I've been through a divorce as well. Sure. And I was like, bro, if you ever need to rap, I said, man, anytime, day or night, same King, same shit.
Yeah. Yo, that episode we did, I don't know if you remember this part.
Yes, I remember.
Our routine is to prepare notes, and we'll print them out and shit like that. We started just talking and flowing, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he kind of like just put that shit aside.
All right.
And we started having man talk.
Yes.
And it was like, okay, this is not going to be, hey, so who was the producer on that track?
Nah. This is some life shit.
It was a Little Brother album. Right?
Yeah. It was life. So nah, man. So I just say all that just to be in this space and to be in a continuation of that. You know what I mean? I really feel like it's fulfilling a promise. And just for me and my brother to be here together in this space, man. I don't take that lightly.
Yeah.
Man. So thank you for having me.
That's dope. That's dope. I love hearing that. Pooh, you know, before we started, you were talking about the last time you seen him. Combat.
Yeah.
Where was he?
In North Carolina. It was in Charlotte. He was doing the doing the mogul,
Yeah.
the Chris Lighty mogul episodes, and he had to come down to North Carolina to speak to Chris's
I think
family.
Chris's mom. That's right.
Yeah, his mom.
His mom was there, right?
Yeah, and so I saw on Twitter he was saying he was in Charlotte, and I was like, he was like, I hit him. I said, yo, man, like this is where I live at now. Like you going to get something to eat? Like he was like, yeah, man, I just probably go to the hotel. Go to the restaurant, the hotel. I was like, you ain't going to no motherfucking restaurant, the hotel, man. So I was like,
real food.
yeah, I was like, yo, I'm gonna come pick you up. What hotel you at? I'm on my way. So I picked him and the producer that was with him. I picked him up, took him to one of my favorite restaurants, a barbecue joint, and we just sat and broke bread for we was in there for like an hour, maybe 2 hours.
Wow.
Just talking, just talk about life, just talk about. We wouldn't even talk about music. We was just talking about life, breaking bread, man. And it was like, yo, man, I'm glad I happened to be on Twitter, and I saw that because I didn't want you to come down here and not see a face that you knew. And that was the last time I saw him and spoke to him was then. And then shortly after I found out about the diagnosis and stuff, and I was just like, man, I'm glad I got that time. That the last time I saw and spoke to him wasn't the show. Like
it wasn't on no industry.
It wasn't on no industry.
Sure.
It was something personal, something like, and we shared that. And I always said it, man. He's always been an advocate of ours, whether together, solo, always, man. And he always had the good word. He always had the gems, the knowledge, man. And I always appreciated it. So when Tay let me hear the bar where he said Combat name, and he's like, yo, I want you to repeat this bar. I was like, yes, thank you. I this feels right with both of us.
Yeah, we both got to say this and like drop the beat out.
Yes.
Like,
So you know what time it is. So
you know, you spoke about giving Combat a shout on that track on the new project, and you also spoke about somebody else that you said you gave a track.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Darian Hager.
Yeah.
Darian Hager, he was a guy from Durham. He worked at Marriott. He did some security for Ninth. He did some security in clubs, but I've known him since our college days.
And Darren, he was a big dude.
He was
Darren
a big dude. He was like 6'6". Like he was a big dude.
But like the coolest, like
Coolest.
Junior Gentle Giant. Like the coolest dude you've ever met.
And he used to, and I remember the first time I had reconnected with him, he was like, yo, man, you got somebody taking care of your hotels? I was like, what you mean? Like a travel agent? He was like, nah, man. Holler at me later. I got you. And this went on for a few years where like he would give me his discount. So I was staying at them Fly Marriotts for like $50. But more than that, like Darren was the guy who would hit me randomly. He would just text me randomly like, yo, Pooh, I'm still telling everybody I wrote your raps. Yo, Pooh, when Little Brother getting back together? I'm going to keep bugging you until I had like, so he would just hit me randomly and we would have conversations. And like, even though he wasn't the reason why we came back together, I just feel like his spirit still was there because he had his own relationship with both of us, but he always kept in touch with both of us.
And the sad thing was that, we also lost him. He had colon cancer.
Yep.
He passed, was it 2017? Was it last year or was it 2019? So was it 2018?
No, I think it was 17 because he came, I had a show, I was opening for Brand Nubian. And I hadn't seen him, like we would talk, but I hadn't seen him. And he came to the show before I went on, and he was like, and I was like, damn, man, you out here losing weight? Like, cause nobody knew. And he was like, yo, I wanted to come and tell you face to face, like, I got stage 4 colon cancer, I'm fighting it. But I wanted you to hear it from me face to face. Cause he didn't even stay for the show. Like he left. He left before I even went on stage. And it was just like, I was just like, yo, like I appreciated him for telling me. And, I checked up on him every once in a while. And it was just one of them things, man. Once again, I'm glad that, one, he came and told me, like, that I didn't end up hearing it on the internet, but he came and told me. And I'm glad that he did tell me because I was able to talk to him a little bit more and let him know how I felt about him, before he passed away.
Sure. It's important to let people, I think sometimes we live in a world where people wait until someone passes away to tell them how much they care about them or spend time with them.
Yeah, you gotta give brothers their flowers, man.
Yeah.
Give brothers their flowers. We
need to continue that narrative. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that definitely between him and Combat, that changed how, I treat, my brothers that, I communicate with, like my man George Foster, he's playing the NFL. He told me one time, he said, man, when I think about somebody, I text them. He said, I reach out and just see how they doing. Yeah. And so I started that same practice. Like when I think about you, I contact you just to see how you doing.
I like that.
Yeah.
And another thing Tay and I started doing that we just started doing, like now when we
all
part.
the years we known each other.
Yeah, all the years. We just started doing it. When we part each other's company, we let each other know we love them. And how proud we are of each other. Just in that, and we just, I don't care if we just did a show, I just saw him at a cookout, or we ran into each other at a restaurant. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we always, when we part, we tell each other we love each other and how proud we are of each other. And that's important to do.
Man, that's special. It's crazy because I think about something that Jay Electronica told me. He told me that sometimes why he hates social media and why he laughs at it, why he loves it. He told me that, like, he was putting up, like, a picture of, like, his grandmother, like, wishing her a 90-something birthday. And people were like, yo, happy birthday to your grandmother. Where the fuck the album?
Yeah. Dude, you can't do that. Like, social media is so, I think the big misconception of social media, one of the biggest things it's done is it has caused people to misconstrue the difference between accessibility and true access. You know what I'm saying? In the sense that, yeah, it's not about if you have somebody's number. It's about if they'll take your fucking call.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So on social media, there's the semblance that, yes, we're all in the same party. We're all in this same space. But, nigga, you just ain't going to be talking to me like that.
Exactly.
Bottom goddamn line. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I'm very careful, like, putting images of family.
Yeah.
In it because,
I don't do any of that.
Nah, because that's all they care about. I mean, you can, you could put up, like, oh, man, I lost my aunt, I lost my dad, I'm so sad. And you'll get a lot of RIPs, but then it'll be, oh, man, I'm sorry to hear about that. Yo, when little brother getting back together?
So that's the reason. Yeah, that's
straight up.
That's the reason why, for how many years have you heard, yo, when is little brother getting back together?
Every day.
Did it get to a point where it bothered you, or
it does, because it's one of these, like, you're flattered that you made that impression on people, like. But then you like, yo, I have this other shit I'm doing. Like, I have this other album I'm out here working on. I have this other project, whatever. And it's like, yeah, whatever, nigga, little brother. And so it's just, it gets to a point where you just be like, motherfucker, like, and it's like, you don't even want to.
Driven even more when you don't fuck with the dude. Right?
Sure.
Like,
That's all I'm going to ask you. Like, what about the period of time where, at least on the outside looking in, when maybe y'all wasn't. Y'all was distant,
we wasn't,
but y'all getting those tweets like, yo,
you don't understand. Like, we don't even fuck with each other. Why you ask for a record?
I don't want to say shit about little brother. Don't say shit.
So, give me on the average when you when you're not, yo, we doing foreign exchange.
Yo, man,
before anybody heard a foreign exchange record.
Yeah, man, it took probably about it took some years. For me to establish the foreign exchange just kind of as its own thing, and for people to understand that this is something totally different from what Little Brother was. Yeah. And they would just always ask, man, so when are you and Pooh getting back together? When is Little Brother getting back together? And over the years, man, I have to say, it was something that I had to learn to live with, and I had to accept it. You know what I'm saying? I read it was a very powerful principle I read in a book some years back where the psychologist was talking about how if you change your perception of a thing, it can change the way you feel about it. So the idea was, the example she gave was this lady that was saying, like, my husband snores at night and I fucking hate him and he keeps me up and fuck him. And like, she was just so angry about it. And so the psychologist was telling her, well, reframe the thought. If your husband is sleeping at night and he's snoring, that means that he knows he's in a safe place. And he's relaxed enough that he can snore because he knows he's good. Right. He's in a good place. So if you reframe the thought and you know that he feels comfortable enough to truly let his guard down around you, then it don't mean that you don't hear the snoring. It just means that, get you some earplugs, whatever you got to do. But you reframe the way you think about that thing. So now it's no longer annoys you. It's something that, you can see the beauty in it and find comfort in it. Yeah. So with me, with Little Brother, it was just a thing where it's like, yeah, I'm tired of asking about this shit. I'm tired of niggas asking me, but I just had to reframe it of like, man, how amazing is it that something I did damn near 20 years ago, people are still asking me about that shit today.
And that's what my man Rich Bartell, writing partner of mine, when he's like, man, do you get frustrated? I was like, sometimes, yeah. And he's like, you know what they telling you, right? I was like, yeah, that they want a fucking Little Brother album. He was like, nah, it's deeper than that. What they're saying is, the game ain't done with y'all.
Nope.
I don't care how much you want to run from it. The game ain't done with y'all.
Ain't over.
And until y'all come back and do what y'all supposed to do, it's gonna keep fucking with you. And once he told me that, I started seeing it, like framing it differently. I started seeing it differently, like damn, I never looked at it like that. And he was like, yo, the game ain't done with y'all.
I like that. You know, it's crazy too. Before we went on air, you were talking about, and this is special for Little Brother fans to hear, and more importantly, people who don't even know Little Brother, if they're listening today, I want them to learn. I want them to.
We're gonna talk about some Twitter foolery that I saw.
Oh,
too.
yes.
But we gotta get people.
Yeah, for
Go
sure.
in.
You were speaking about how this even all happened, how Little Brother came back. How,
Yeah.
Take us through that.
Man, it was so crazy. It happens rapidly. It was it's a festival in Durham, the Article Festival.
Same Article Festival. We was
that
combat.
We saw Combat, but Article Festival, and the Saturday lineup was Royce da 5'9", Nas, Erykah Badu. Royce da 5'9" misses his flight. The promoter Suleiman, he runs the festival. I don't want to say promoter. I don't want to shortchange him. He actually runs the Article. Sure. He contacted Phonte and was like, "Yo, can you do a solo set?" Phonte was like, okay. Like, all right. He called DJ Flash, who's Little Brother DJ, his tour DJ. Flash don't answer. Sidebar, niggas in our crew we don't answer our phone a lot. I just want to say.
Right. There's a recurring theme in this.
Yeah.
Like, answer your fucking phone.
It just hit me. But so Flash didn't answer his phone, so Phonte reached out to Ninth to see if he could DJ his show. Ninth was like, yeah, he could do it. And then Phonte had the brilliant idea to get me involved. And so
so he just called you up. Where were you?
He was in Charlotte.
I live in Charlotte. I live 2.5 hours away.
Okay.
And showtime, this is like 4:30
It's
when I get the
4:30
call.
p.m.
4:30 p.m. when I get the call saying, hey, can you cover this? Okay, cool. What time is showtime?
Yeah.
Stage time is at 8.
8.
I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Okay, let me see what I can get together. And so I immediately make my calls. I'm on the phone with Ninth, and I'm like, yeah, okay, you can do it. I said, but man, what if we could deliver a Little Brother show? Like, what if we call Pooh on this? And Ninth was like, oh, shit, man. I don't know. He was super kind of, leery about it. But, he agreed. And so I called Pooh, and
I sent him the voicemail.
he sent me the voicemail like he does.
Yeah.
So
I sent a lot of people the voicemail.
Take that.
I take it personally. That's what he do.
Yeah.
So he pick up the phone. I call him right back. He like, man, let me call you
Wait,
back.
why do you send people the voicemail just because, or?
Nah, sometimes you just be like, yo, I don't feel like talking right now, man.
Gotcha.
And I'm, when I feel like talking, I talk. When I don't, I don't. And then sometimes you're like, yo, I'm doing something, I call him right back, whatever it is. But when he called, so I knew it was like, yo, I'm gonna call him right back. I literally was gonna call him back in like 5 minutes. Like,
we didn't have 5
he didn't
minutes
have
to spare.
5 minutes to spare.
So he called back?
So he called me right back. And so for me, when I send somebody the voicemail, if they call me right back, I know it's important.
Absolutely.
So I picked up, I said, hey man, can I call you back in a minute? He said, nigga, this only gonna take a minute. I got Ninth on the phone. I was like, oh boy, what's up? Like, I had no idea what this shit was about to be
you never
about.
know, yeah.
So he was like, yo, just got an article, Royce missed his flight. Want to do this Little Brother show. What you think? I was like, what time it start? He was like, 8 o'clock. I'm looking at the time like, okay. He was like, I said, okay, well, the next important question, how much is it? So he was like, I'm gonna call you right back. So he called Suleiman.
I called Suleiman because like I was saying.
So first of all, they thought that it was just gonna be you.
Yeah, Suleiman just wanted me.
So when you hit them back and told them this was possible,
I hit him back and I said, listen, man. I said, look, just keep this on the low. Just between me and you. What if I could deliver a Little Brother show? And he was like, motherfucker, like, don't play with me, Phonte. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, he was losing it. I said, well, what can we do? Like, because before, for me, just a principle I always live by. Before we even talk money, I need to make sure that I can deliver for you. So to me, it ain't even, the money will come later. I need to make sure I can deliver this thing. And so, he, told me what the money would be. He was like, all right, cool. I hit Pooh back and he was with it and I was with it. I was like, okay, let's go. And so we just hit go on it. And
I grabbed shit out the closet. I literally was when we
Put gas in the car.
I already had gas. I just had to get clothes. I grabbed clothes, and we had agreed. We was like, yo, we gonna send out an Instagram post at the same time. All three of us put it up. We gonna say the same thing. I literally was doing that shit. By the time Tay got the post together, I literally was doing that as I was getting on the highway, like to head up there. And him and Ninth was going through songs. Like I'm listening to songs on the way up. So by the time I got there, it was probably like 7:40, like 7:30, 7:45. I pull up. Him and Ninth had already went through. They got a bank of songs already listed. So then I come in, and I'm like, nope, take that shit out. Keep that, take that. I don't know that. Move that. So we rearrange them. And then Tay, I'm still amazed how I beat him there. And I live 2.5 hours away.
Yeah, he beat me there.
Yeah.
I'm probably like 25 minutes from the spot.
Yeah.
But I had to get my family together. Like I told my son, all right, come on, man. I'm about to go work. And me and my wife, we all came. My wife and my son, we all came down. And yeah, man, I had to listen to Minstrel Show. I hadn't listened to Minstrel Show.
Classic.
Thank you, man. I hadn't listened to that record probably in a good 5-6 years. And so I'm listening to it, kind of just doing refresher.
Gotta re-jog that memory.
Yeah, and yeah, we put it together and we just got on stage and
Shit
it just happened.
Muscle memory, man.
Now, how is it? Now, did you all come out at the same time on that stage, or did you come out and then bring them out?
Nah. It's little brother.
So was the crowd bugged? They had to be confused, no?
Yeah, well, it was
Because well, you put it on social media,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure a lot of the crowd, maybe some people didn't even.
I mean, a lot of the people who was on social media wasn't even in Durham. Like, people were mad. They were like, yo, why didn't you fucking tell me? I could have got there. I can't get there in 2 hours. Like, I live in fucking L.A. Like,
yeah, because and the thing too about that show, it was wild. I mean, that technically wasn't our crowd
at all.
There was, there's some overlap between Erykah Badu fans and
sure.
whatever, but that really wasn't our crowd. And so we came out, and I mean, it was a good reception, but it was nowhere near. Had we announced it,
sure.
We
Had you
said
planned
that shit in L.A. Had we planned it?
The reception online was greater than the reception at the spot, but it was okay because I'm not even gonna lie. Until I saw a playback of part of it, I had no fucking clue what the crowd was doing. I didn't
Straight up,
I didn't care.
Yeah, we didn't even. I don't even remember the crowd. I don't even remember seeing the crowd. I was just so locked into what we were doing and making sure I hit all my beats,
and I ain't forgetting no
I don't even remember
words.
them.
And,
I don't even remember what they look like.
They might as well not even been there. Like that's how real it is. And then it's when you get off stage when you realize like, oh shit, that just happened. Like, I can't believe that fucking just happened.
So now you like high on feeling, right?
Absolutely.
You
endorphins going nuts.
Forget about
going
it.
nuts. And so the next day, like Tay, he was like, yo, you come through. Like, I'll pay you out, for the show. You come through. And then he was like, matter of fact, nigga, I'm gonna throw some shit on the grill. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
nice.
all right, nigga, who gonna turn down a good grill? So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I stopped through on before I go home, and I get there early. I'm fat, so I like to get to the food before everybody else does. So I get there early because I kept saying, I was like, yo, I'm going to be there about 1 o'clock. He's like, man, you ain't got to come that early. No, nigga, I'll be there that early.
Yeah, he got there early. And the thing was, like, so I'm like, okay, I got all these niggas coming over. So I'm like, all right, let me go buy extra slab of ribs. And then I found out, like, everybody stopped eating pork. Like, so it was like me, I think, my wife, she'll eat, like, it was only like 2 of us eating ribs.
I was like, nigga, where the bird at?
Yeah, but all the chicken was gone. But he didn't eat pork, so it was that. And so he came over, and that was when we started having the conversations of just, where do we go from here? How do you feel? And, and it was just one of those things that, again, man, with time, you realize the mistakes you made, and you understand how not to make those same mistakes again. And I stress this just to all young artists, man, like, if you're in a group, if you're in a crew or whatever, man, take time to get to know the people you're working with and have those conversations, because the game now, it moves so fast. You know what I'm saying? It'll make you famous before it makes you rich, and it will expose you before you get a chance to really develop. You know what I mean? And so you really got to have those conversations of just, hey, man, I know, yo, you nice with the beats, you nice with the rhymes, you nice on the video, whatever. But who are you as a person? What drives you? What does success look like to you? What does, how many years what is this all you want to do? Do you like to tour? Okay, you don't. Fine. How do we work around that? just having all those little details, because success is a Band-Aid, but it only works for a little while. And it can only sustain you for a time. But after a while, man,
all that Band-Aid comes off.
That shit come off, bro. And
everything comes out in the wash.
yeah, your talent is not enough to save you.
Yeah, it's funny too. I remember you saying, and we'll get back to some of the earlier days, but I remember you saying that when you got a check from Atlantic, that's why a lot of artists, and still to this day, a lot of artists are not aware of how to handle their business, because you just get a check and they say like little brother, and you're like, yo, we don't even know where to cash it. LLC. Like, that's the only thing that sucks about the business, because it's like you're not prepared.
Yeah.
And not meaning you in general, just like the world don't prepare you too. Even like you think about it, I always say this, and not to get off track.
No.
But I always say that like in high school, there should be building credit classes,
but they don't
mortgage classes.
They don't prepare you on purpose.
Yeah.
Like they don't want you to be a thinker.
Yeah.
They want you to just do what I tell you to do.
So like sign up for this credit card in college for a free hoodie.
Yeah.
It's like to fuck your shit up for life.
With 62% APR.
Right.
Even just how high school is structured, man. Like during one of my valleys in my career, I substitute taught.
Okay, wow.
And I hated that shit, because what I realized was, well, first of all, the pay sucked, but what I realized was, back in our day, I'm pretty sure we all around the same age. Maybe I don't know how young y'all two are, but when you had a substitute teacher, that was video or worksheet time.
It was simplistic.
We chilling like a motherfucker.
Day.
Nah, not now.
No.
When you come in, you basically have to take the teacher's lesson plan for that day, and you have to apply it. Yeah. Now, even though you don't teach the same way as the teacher, I had to come in early to even remember like how to do some of this shit they was asking me to do.
Right.
And it's like, and I'm talking about, bro, this is like 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, nigga, I don't know.
This is right. Like, yo, like when my son is 13, and I told both my sons are 18 and 13, and I told them straight up, listen, bro, when the alphabet shows up in your math homework, I'm fucking done.
I'm not your guy.
It's over. Nigga, I wasn't hot at that shit back when I was supposed to be hot at that shit 20 years ago.
No algebra.
Nah.
Calculus.
Nigga, don't give me no geometry.
I got
none
a
of that
B.
shit.
My senior year, I got like a B. Maybe I think it was a B or a C. I got a B in like algebra 3 trigonometry. Nigga, that was the happiest B I've ever received in my fucking life. You know what I mean? So I'm like, dude, you gotta pay attention. I can't help you.
I got a D in trigonometry my second time taking it, and I was like, shit, that's good enough for me not to have to take it again. That's all I cared about, man. Like, but nah, like school ain't set up for you. Like they don't teach life skills, man, and that's why a lot of kids come out and they don't have them. And like even I'd say about us, to bring it back around, like we didn't have a mentor. You know what I'm saying? Like we were learning that shit on the fly. Like between us, our manager, we all learning that shit on the fly. So it was just like, we got to figure this shit out as we go. So niggas made mistakes.
Well, I think that's where the music comes in at, right? Because like when I first heard Little Brother for album 1, one of the things that I gravitated towards was, oh shit, I missed this little part in my life. And these dudes just gave me game. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Now I'm gonna keep,
Little Brother gave you game. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah,
Gave a lot of people.
We had no game to give.
Bro.
We were just made. Wow,
even to the simplest hack of slick talking to chick. Like, damn, I ain't slick talking like that. Like, I need to sharpen my shit up a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Step your game up.
But I say that to say, even though that's not school per se, but it's just the music gives you the missing components.
Thank you, man.
That you look for. Like, oh shit, my older brother didn't tell me that part. He was shielding me from that
crazy.
shit. But I heard them say it. You know what I mean?
That's so interesting to hear that, man. Yeah, we were, like I said, man, those early days, man, like, I tell everybody, Little Brother was the boot camp that set up every stage of my life. Like, everything that I went on to do, like, from Little Brother, like, once I got into, like, writing for TV and just, doing voiceover work, just all the things I've been blessed to do, Little Brother was the training ground for that shit. And once I was able to get into TV and working on shows and everything, they were really impressed with like our turnaround time. And they didn't understand that, like, nigga, we came from nothing. So these things that y'all think are just so amazing and the budgets or whatever. I'm like, dude, you don't understand. We did this shit with no preparation, no anything. So now you're giving me an opportunity. You got a budget. Like, I'm getting my check. My taxes already been took out of it and shit. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, that's actual order.
Yeah, that's classic.
It's like straight up.
I remember hearing about how Jazzy Jeff taught you a great lesson of the TV, of the Showtime of Hollywood.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that. I heard that many times before, where you talked about how if you make it in the music business, you can make it in anything.
The music business is like New York.
Yeah.
It's like straight up. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And it's a reason, I think, why so many, I don't think it's coincidental that so many rappers have been able to transition to Hollywood and kill that shit.
Yeah.
From Will, Marky Mark,
Sure.
Queen Latifah, you know,
Sure.
Ice Cube. Man, if you can make this, essentially every rap is a performance. I mean, it is acting, you know what I mean? And yeah, man, so Little Brother was boot camp. Early, it was boot camp, and it set up so many things for both of our careers.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so let's take it where we were going. So he on the grill, got some chicken,
Oh, yeah.
got some ribs.
Yeah.
1 second, let's make sure I found
went down
okay.
the wrong went down the wrong pipe.
This episode don't mean nothing if he ain't
Pause.
okay.
Yo, when okay, let me not make this a pause. When beverages go down your throat, down the wrong pipe, no pause.
You feel like you
necessary,
about to die.
Yeah, nah,
It's
all
a different
good.
type of
Nigga,
travel.
your life
There
flashes
we go, Phonte
before
back.
you and shit.
Forget-
We
not-
back.
That's the food pipe.
Just in case you die, nigga.
I love you, man.
I love you. No, I'm good.
But nah, on the grill, man, we just had a conversation, man, and before everybody get there, and I think the thing about this process, like I tell people all the time, the thing about this process that was so beautiful, and it damn near almost contradict everything he just said. We didn't think about this shit. We didn't talk too much about it. Once we decided we gonna do it, we just started doing it. Literally a week later, we started
was
doing
it the show that really fucking that gave you like that the double espresso shot?
Yeah. I think it was the show. It was the energy,
The reaction.
just knowing where we are. And I can't even say it was the reaction of the crowd.
But internets.
Yeah, or the internet. Nah, it was really just the feeling of, man, doing this again made me feel happy.
Mm.
And that was something that in Little Brother, neither one of us had really felt before. You know, well, it hadn't felt in a very long time.
in a long time.
You know, our last tour we did like 2010.
Nigga, we ain't even talk.
Yeah, we didn't we literally didn't talk at all. We was just all right.
What was his business?
That's crazy.
Well, I think, for me personally, it was just exhaustion. I was just fucking exhausted, man. And our last tour was 2010, and crazy shit. TDE, well, what we now know is TDE.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar,
J-Rock and
J-Rock,
Absol.
and Soul, they opened for us.
Wow.
We did a West Coast run, and we did LA, San Diego,
and San Francisco.
And, Pooh was the one who put me on to Kendrick. He was one of the first people I knew to really, like, back when he was K-Dot. And so he was like, yeah, man, these new kids, K-Dot, they doing, they want to open for us. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And so I remember us doing LA, and Kendrick is on stage and the crowd is yelling for us, like trying to get him on stage. And I'm just like, dude. So now it was so crazy to see, 6, 7, however many months later, this is Kendrick fucking Lamar.
Yeah.
This is the same guy y'all was booing.
Wanted off the stage.
Wanted off the stage before.
Now
you know what I mean?
Now he the fucking king of LA. Like, and
was
soon to
wild.
become the king of rap.
Top dog.
Right, top dog
Yeah.
for real. But yeah, man, it was something that just I hadn't felt. Little Brother was something for me. It just hadn't brought me joy for a very long time. And so once we did that show, that was how I was able to rediscover the joy of, man, I actually like doing this, and I like doing it with him. And from that point on, we was like, what's the next step? The next logical progression was a record, and we were both in it. And we said, all right, let's go.
And no turning back from there.
Nah, we literally jumped in.
Now, what about announcing it to the world? Like announcing it, like, was that something that you guys had already known for a week or 2 weeks or 5 days? Or, you know what I mean? Like, do you remember?
Well, I know we purposely, we went into the process of working on the record, and we was like, yo, we not gonna say nothing to nobody. We just gonna work on the record. And because at the end of the day, if we ain't like what we was making or we ain't like the process or whatever, we can always be like, oh, shit, I guess shit ain't work out.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said about, there's two minds of this. There's some people that believe, okay, to say something is to manifest it, to speak it in creation.
Sure, speaking existence.
There's another line of thinking, which I am a little more cynical about, is to say something out loud is to immediately doom it. You feel me?
I agree with that.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, and then you wouldn't line at Popeyes the next day.
Wait for that chicken
Motherfuckers like,
sandwich.
what happened to your 50 pounds?
Right, yeah, right. It's like, well, nigga, I'm going to lose 50 pounds on the Krispy Kreme diet. Watch me. Like, nigga, no. You about to be fat as fuck.
And it's something. Me and Buck Wild ended up having a conversation.
Producer Buck Wild?
Producer Buck
Oh,
Wild,
Shouts to
legendary
Buck
Buck
Wild.
Wild.
Legendary, yeah.
Shout out to Buck,
We had a
man.
conversation a few weeks ago, and he said something very, very poignant, and he was just like, yo, man, I'm glad y'all didn't. At this time, he still didn't know when the record was coming. He thought we would just finish. Like, I actually had told him, like, dog, we done with the record. He thought we had just started. And he was just like, man, I'm glad y'all did it that way, because nowadays, the minute you announce something, it's old.
Sure.
It's old. And he was like, the fact that y'all held on to that for so long, and people still don't know when this album is coming, it's always going to be new.
Yeah, you have to speak to people. I think now you have to speak to people when it's ready. Like the days of pay me today for a hamburger on Friday, get the fuck out of here. Holler at me when the burgers is ready, dog. So we were very adamant, and just when we're doing this, there's not going to be a lot of build up. It's not a rollout. It's not me and my man in the studio coming soon. Nah, like we worked on this record in relative obscurity. I mean, it was people on the album. They didn't even know they was on the album till the shit came out. We didn't even tell them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and
shit.
yeah, like
Do
Knots,
you know?
He didn't even know.
Do you know how hard it is to go to L.A. together,
right.
but not be in L.A.
Yeah, because the thing
together?
Because the thing is, like, we're not famous. Like, we're not famous. We're like, we're like situationally famous. So it's like, if you see me by myself, you may not know me. If you see him by himself, you may not know him.
You see niggas
but you
together?
see us together, it's like,
What the fuck is going on?
hey,
Yeah.
hold up, I know you guys. Like, so it was so
Somebody
wild,
gonna take
bro.
that picture. Like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Bruh, and that's how niggas was in L.A. creeping around. Like, it was like niggas wasn't posting no pictures. And then for me, like, L.A., that's my spot. Like, I get busy in L.A. I couldn't even tell people I was there.
Yeah.
So
Because
do you guys like have sessions where on purpose where you record your shit outside of the studio and have people come in? They wouldn't know. You probably hit his verse or your verse.
Nah,
They didn't know what was going on.
Everything we did, we recorded the record at my crib in North Carolina, and he would come up and we did everything together, like just in one
Wrote
room,
it, recorded it.
together. I engineered like all the vocals and mixed everything. But yeah, man, we were just. I felt it was important to just keep everything close to the vest because you don't want outside forces to kind of get into it, and that's something that's a chance that's an opportunity that not many artists get because your life changes after your first record. After you make your first record, all the animals have left the barn and you can't get that back. But because we were gone away for so long, we were able to do something and able to create something in obscurity and release it when we were ready. And that's just not something that after your first record, you don't really get to do that shit again. You know what I mean? And so,
And therefore, it felt like we had a second chance of having our whole lives to create a record.
Like we had like a 9-year reset button. It's like, all right, reset. So it was cool.
Made a Lord watch.
Made a little watch, man.
Where'd that come from?
Man. Okay.
And was that the first name you was
No.
thinking?
It was not.
It was not.
The
Okay,
first name of the album, and this was just the working title. We were just, the first working title. The actual first working title of the album was Homecoming.
But this little known artist by the name of Beyonce.
Yeah, this independent artist named
Shouts to Beyonce.
Yeah, she had wrote this thing called Homecoming, and we were like, you know what? We don't want to take her shine. You know what I mean?
We're going to let her have that.
Let her have that. We don't want to outshine this independent artist, But nah, she came with Homecoming. We was like, okay, immediately. I mean, we weren't 100% sold on that title
But
anyway.
that shit was definitely out after that.
That killed it. It was like, all right, fuck that title. It's over. She owns that now. So, you know what I mean? But, so we did that. But then, it just came to me like one night, and I think I texted Pooh. I said, yo, man, I think I got the title for the album. He's like, what? And so I texted him. I said, made the Lord watch. And he was like, damn. Like, yo, that shit sound hard, nigga. That sound like a Clips album title. I was like, hell yeah, nigga. This shit hard as fuck. He was like, yeah, it's biblical. That's woo. And so I said, well, man, listen, just think on it. Cause even I wasn't, so I was like, let me see. So I had to really like write it down and look at it in different ways. Like I was in my iTunes and all like the rough mixes we had. I actually titled and tagged the MP3 so I could see like visually what does it look like together. And it wasn't until I think we took the album photos for the cover. We took the photos and we were listening to the final playback of the album. It was me, Pooh, Sean Don, and the guy, my man who took our cover, Antoine Lyers, photographer. And we were all just sitting at my crib in the studio and we were just listening to it. There may have or may not have been some edibles involved of some kind.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. You know,
allegedly
shout
involved.
out my nigga Eddie Bull.
Little brownie.
It might have been a little brownie,
cookie.
little gummy, little something.
Little straw.
But we was just all sitting in there, man, and I had the album cover up on my computer, and, you know, we listened to the album, and we all just knew, we was like, yo, that's it. That's it. Like, it all clicked right there.
May the Lord watch was you, Phonte, and Pooh sitting down on a couch, suited and booted. Okay. And it's funny, I was telling Pooh off air, I was like, yo, y'all didn't wear no Concords, no Jordan 11s?
Nah, that was we had to bring the hard.
That's what I told him. I asked her, I was like, yo, what we doing for footwear, bro? You know, can I put my sneakers on? He was like, nah. Like, I literally had to go because I didn't have any black dress shoes. I literally had to go to the store the day of and get me some black dress shoes. Like, I had to go buy something just for that. I probably won't even put them shits on again. I had to go buy them just for that.
That album cover of you and Pooh sitting down on the couch, looking like some professional boss motherfuckers. What made you for that particular photo for the album?
Well, the idea was just in kind of conceptualizing the album. The idea was that, you know, it's been 15 years since, you know, we've done this, you know, since, you know, our last album. Well, 10 years, I mean, officially since, you know, the last Left Back album, but, you know, 15 years, you know, coming up on since Minstrel Show. And so the thought was, well, if we've been apart for 15 years, what is the thing that generally brings people together after a long time? And generally it's death. So in real life, the death that brought me and Pooh together was Fife. Mm-hmm. That was when he died. That was when we reconnected and started talking again. And so then in the little brother fictional kind of character world, the death of Percy Miracles was what brought everybody together in the thing. So, you know, buddy of mine, my homie Antoine, he, you know, just has like this beautiful crib. And, you know, we were like, yo, we want to kind of shoot it like it's a repast. Like it's, you know, after the funeral was over and, you know, everyone's just kind of sitting around talking. And we took those flicks in like his living room.
It's like a sitting room.
Sitting room, yeah. You know, we were just in there.
And those weren't even the first set. Like we took some other ones and we were just like, let's get some more. Let's figure this out. Let's try something in this room over here.
It was a last minute result. Like, let's try this. Let's see if this works. And we sat down on the couch and we were just sitting there and like the window was behind us. And it was so crazy the way it came together, man, because, you know, on our first album cover, we were looking out of windows, you know, on the listener. And in this album cover, it was like a much bigger window. And, you know, I just thought that it was indicative of as you grow older, your perspective gets bigger and your window gets bigger and you see things in a much more broad, almost kind of panoramic way at 40 than you will see at 25 or 20, you know what I mean? And the thing was, all of that was not planned. I mean, I would love to sit here and tell you that the conceptual genius, I thought that, nigga.
Nah, we just saw that. We was like, damn, this picture hard.
That's it. Yeah, it just spoke. It was like, that's it.
This
nigga.
picture hard.
This shit hard as fuck.
And then you start thinking about it. It's almost like how Little Brother, the name came to be. It was like that name looked hard when you wrote it down. It looked like it didn't look like rap. It didn't look like it just it was like, yo, the name looks good.
It just fit. Yeah.
Let's go. And then came to like, oh yeah, we like the Little Brothers of, you know, the groups we grew up listening to, whatever. This picture worked the same way. It was just like, yo, that picture hard. Oh shit, now I see this. Now it was almost like a fan, like when you first seen it for the first time, you can draw your own conclusions or you have your own perspective on what that photo means to you. And we were able to do that as we're listening to the album, allegedly on edibles. looking at this picture on the screen, and we're all just sitting there, and then everybody just came up with their own idea of what the cover meant to them.
Yeah, and that, I mean, that's like that to me is what great art is. I mean, I think great art is, it leaves itself open for interpretation, but if you do it the right way, everybody will find themselves in it. You know, I always talk about just like some of my favorite songs, and like one of my favorite songs like of all time, one of the greatest songs to me is Rocket Man by
Elton John.
Elton John. And the song is literally about an astronaut. Like that's I mean, this in its literal sense, it's literally written about an astronaut. But I was reading an interview with the songwriter with Bernie Maupin, and he was saying like, listen, I wrote that song about an astronaut, but over the years, I've had so many people reach out to me and say, yo, this song got me through my drug addiction. This song got me through my divorce. This song was, you know, the idea of, you know, I'm not the man they think I am at home. Like, you can read into that so many different things. You know what I mean? And
that's powerful.
People on all those levels. And, you know, that's something that we always try to do. And just to see the feedback that we've been getting off the record, and to see that it's speaking to people in a way that they need it. That was even why we released the album on a Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate the Friday release. I think that's like the dumbest shit ever. You know what I mean? Like,
you get to live with an album during the week. Like, you know, on the weekend, especially for our age, on the weekend, you know, that's time to take the kids to swimming and karate and 5 birthday parties and all those different things. But during the week, you need that music to get you through that work week.
Through your real life.
Through your real life.
You know what I mean?
Through that drive to work, that drive home from work while you sitting at work. Like, you need that music to get you through that. And we was like, we always felt, I hate the fact that they changed release days to Fridays. But
I get why they did it, but it's still.
We always knew Tuesday was going to be the day for us. We always knew. He's like, yo, we're going to give this to the people during the week to get them to Friday.
Because once I get to Friday, nigga, I done made it.
Sure.
I don't fuck your album on Friday, niggas. This damn is Wingstop time.
Yeah.
But, you know, I need it. Dude, you get it to me Tuesday, that gets me through, and that gives me a chance to live with it. And if you got some heat on it, then
I'm gonna play it on the weekend.
Yeah, I'll play it on the weekend. Yeah, but Friday is not the time for discovery.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And I also think that, you know, with people awaiting the album, like Little Brother reunion, like Little Brother coming back, I think that it doesn't matter what day you dropped it.
You know what's
people
funny?
Are happy.
Look at the hashtag New Music Monday.
Yeah.
It's New Music Monday because it's the beginning of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And you got time.
You got time to
say,
live.
do I really like this record or not?
You have time to live with it.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what? Let's take a quick break. We're sitting here. Little Brother is back.
Bang,
Okay.
bang.
Phonte's in the building. Rapper Big Pooh. We got Mal back on deck. The red wine is flowing.
Yes.
Yo, Benson, we got to find out if they're still open. We may need another bottle.
We might need another one.
Internet.
I go another
Internet. We got to go. We'll be right back. We got a lot to get through. Cheers.
Yo, check this out, man. It's Prodigy from the infamous Mobb Deep, the head nigga in charge, HNIC. You know what I'm saying? Repping that Queens, New York. Chilling, man, right now, man. Just kicking it, you know what I mean, with my homie Premium Pete. And this is the Premium Pete Show. Keep it locked right here. Don't go nowhere. Real shit. One.
Internet's and we're back. Little Brother is back. Phonte.
Yeah.
Rapper Big Pooh, A King. Listen, there's something I've been wanting to ask you too. You know, when especially for Phonte, when you guys weren't talking, and I know you were doing, you know, both of you. That's something people don't get it confused.
Man, you went through that shit.
Well, yeah, of course.
Wow.
Pete was trying to fight me on Twitter, and I would pull up to the studio like, "What's up?" Like, how, you know.
Brotherhood, man. Combat created a dysfunctional family.
Yeah, he did.
Hey, man,
he did.
And I love him for it.
A family nonetheless.
Yo, people will call me, yo, y'all good? I don't like the energy y'all doing on Twitter. Like, man, fuck him.
And then I got mad at him because we had a Wingstop chicken go.
We did the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival. So
Okay.
Wingstop had they had like this prop or whatever where they was doing these interviews and shit. And Combat would interview, they would come into the Wingstop tent. Okay. And he would interview whatever. So they gave out these chains and it was gold and it had a chicken drumstick.
That's so niggerous.
And I wasn't, it was just like, drinking and bullshit.
Yep.
I'm not even thinking like, damn, that's not a good look. And my homegirl, Marvelous Mo, she took a picture or Insta story or whatever. And Pete, because me and him was having our friction, he was the first one on it. Like, look at this dude.
That is ammo.
Silly shit. And I'm like, here we go. You know what I mean?
Nah, but so
Like,
man.
motherfucker, you right, but damn it, why'd you say
Why you
that?
got a chicken? Why you got a chicken shit on your neck? You know what I mean?
Nah, Combat, like I said, he formed a dysfunctional family, but I know he's proud seeing that we're still keeping the torch going. And,
Absolutely.
and brotherhood, that's one thing. He created a brotherhood.
Yep.
And that's something that, I always felt like after school helped me stay out of trouble when I was growing up. And I felt like Combat Jack Show was the after school for me. You know what I mean? Most definitely. But what I was trying to say was like, meaning like when you were going through your shit, did you like ever, think of Pooh or miss him? Like, and I don't mean like in the sense of
I know what you mean. Yeah, man. Man, it was times where, distance gives you perspective in a lot of ways. And, when we first started doing this, man, it just happened so fast. And we were one of the first groups that kind of made our name on the internet. You know what I mean? And, the thing about it, and I've talked about this before, how, the game, it'll make you famous before it make you rich.
Sure.
And it will make you, it will give you exposure before you have a chance to really get good or even really figure out who you are. And so it was so many times that, when we first started, man, shit just took off and you're just trapped in this fucking submarine with all these people because this is a thing that you've created that is bigger than yourself and you realize that. But it was so hard, man, because I personally got to the point of just exhaustion because it was just tour, mixtape, album, tour, mixtape, album, mixtape, tour, album. And you never got a chance to say, I never had the chance and didn't have the language at that time to just say, yo, man, I just need a fucking break. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I have nothing more to give this thing right now. And so it was times during our break where I would think of Pooh. It was times, that I would be like, man, I hope he cool, whatever. But, pride, like, pride fucks with you. It's like, man, fuck that dude. Now he did this and he was on the bus. That nigga ate the last pink Starburst. Fuck him. You know what I mean?
Spicy.
Like, it'd be shit like that, and you'd be like, damn. You know what I mean? So, when Fife passed, when Fife passed, I was
rest
at
in
the
peace.
time. Yeah, rest in peace, man. Fife passed, and that was the first time. I mean, we had all experienced death. We had all experienced loss, but Fife was a death. That. Like, Fife was ours, you know what I mean? And that felt like we lost one of our own, you know what I mean? And so when he passed, at the time I was working on a Foreign Exchange album at the time. And, one of my singers, songwriting partner, Carmen Rogers, she was at the crib and we were working on FE stuff. And I remember when he passed and everything, man, like everything, like it just hit me. It was, grief is strange like that. Like you just don't know when it's going to hit you, but it does. And so I had a moment, man, like it was, cause I was just really sad that day. And, Carmen, she was like, well, Phonte, what is it? And I was just like, I'm thinking about Pooh. I can't stop thinking about it. And she was like, well, do you want to reach out to him? Do you want to call him? I was like, man, I don't know. You know what I mean? And I was looking like everything was cool. Like I had seen everything on social media, people talking about Fife, and, and I was cool. But it wasn't until I saw the picture, someone had posted the picture, and this is a picture we all had seen a million fucking times. Yeah. It's the picture of Fife in the jacket, in the Low End Theory album cover, where he's wearing the Carolina sweatshirt with the North Carolina hat. Man, I fucking
from the video,
lost it.
Bugging Out.
Yeah, from Bugging Out. But there's also just the picture of him in the joint.
Yeah. With
Dude,
the eyes and shit.
I fucking lost it. I was like, damn. Because it was like, looking at that picture, I'm like, yo.
The universe is
that's
talking
little
to you.
brother.
Yeah.
That is, that is us. We're North Carolina artists that, bowed at the altar of A Tribe Called Quest. And that's, like, dude, that's who the fuck we were. And so, yeah, it was hard. And so, it was refreshing when he reached out to me. That was a sign that we were right. We were on the same page. He was thinking the same thing I was thinking. Because, you never know. It's like it can be a temperature check sometimes. Like, I'm thinking about him, but this nigga might be cool on me, so you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to,
Yeah, I don't want to put too much on it.
Yeah,
you know what I
You
mean?
don't want to reach out and get your hands slapped.
Yeah.
And they might get the fuck out of
Now
there.
I'm ready to fucking fight you for real.
Because you could come correct, like, Will, like, look, I want it, and the motherfucker could be sideways, and be like, all right, motherfucker, now.
Yeah, like now we got real beef.
Yeah. Fuck you, man.
Yeah, like so, but nah, man. Yeah, it was definitely times like during the break where you would think about a person, but I just weren't reaching out. I was like, let me just do me. Let me just do my thing.
That motherfucking pride and ego,
What about you,
motherfucker. Yeah, man. I mean, we had spent so much of our lives together, and for me, we had spent. I mean, shit, nigga, for both of us, we're only a year apart, but I grew up with him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
I left college and we grew. Like, I grew up. I became.
We both did.
I became a man. You know what I'm saying? And so it got to a point. It's certain things for me, I was accustomed to picking up the phone and sharing things, sharing news, whatever. And so to not have that, you still think about something. Yo, I'm gonna call this nigga. No, I ain't talking to that nigga right now. That's right. That's right. so like that always happens. But
Yeah, like time, like especially like jokes. Like I think that's the thing.
oh my
If
god,
you ever talk about like when you miss someone, when you have like there's inside jokes that you share, or when there's something like some fuck shit happen on social media, and you be like, yo, man, I know me and the roast session that me and Pooh will have on this nigga right now.
oh my, that shit'll be fucking bananas.
Be like, damn, we ain't even there. You know what I mean? Like, you can't even do it. And it's like, because I'm a firm believer. And I think this is psychologically proven. I think someone did a study on this, that people bond together over hate more than they do
More
over
than
love.
they do love.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if me and you both like butter pecan ice cream, like, we're cool.
That ain't gonna create
But
no
if
real
we
combo.
both hate chocolate ice cream, nigga, we'll be best friends forever. Because we're hating on the same thing together. And so it was like, it would be shit that I would see. I'd be like, damn, me and Pooh gonna have an epic hate session on this.
But we ain't talking. And the extra layer on that for me was like my friends became my family. Like, I have an older brother. That nigga's in and out of jail. He in jail now, or prison, excuse me. Jail and prison.
real
is different.
prison, like,
He's in prison. Then my sisters, they're 8 years younger than me. So, I'm big brother fucking for real. You know what I'm saying? So
You're not little brother.
nah, I'm big. I'm all the way big brother. I only understand you, big brother. So, though my friends became my family. They became like the cousins I didn't kick it with or whatever. And so to be missing a part, one of your family members, and then not be from death. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like, to be missing that, like that really, and it took me maturing to realize that's how I was able to reach out when Fife passed, and it was like, okay, man, time to set this bullshit to the side. Cause nigga, I remember I did a Sway interview. I remember it was with Slum Village, and I said Sway ass, and it wasn't with malice and tenor, and I was like, man, I could reach out, man, but my ego, my pride, man, nigga gotta holler at me, like.
right.
And I
call first.
I said, at this point, it ain't even about being upset no more. It's like, that nigga just got to call me first. and I remember saying that, but at that time, right, when Fife passed, I was like, yo, you don't know what tomorrow brings, bro. Like,
You don't even know if you're gonna get tomorrow.
get tomorrow. Like, so I had just talked to Fife. I had just saw Fife. And then I went through my own medical scare, and it was like, bruh, just cut the bullshit. It's like, even if y'all never get like y'all were or any of that, just let them know how you feel, and then you could be good. And even after I text them, I was like, yo, I love you. You always be my brother. Just want to let you know that whether we speak again, it was like a big weight was lifted.
Yeah, you have to, man. Like, forgiveness is a big part. People, I stress all the time, man, that, people think of forgiveness as being something I forgive. I won't forget. I won't forget. I never forget. And the thing about it is just that, man, forgiveness has nothing about to do with the other person. Forgiveness is about you. Forgiveness is not even saying, hey, I forgive you and we're going to go back to exactly the way things were. Forgiveness is just saying, no, I'm letting go of this. I'm letting this go for me. Even if I forgive you and you say, fuck your forgiveness, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's not about you.
You got to hold that.
You got to hold that. I'm letting this go because I can't carry this shit no more. I can't let this thing hold me back, and I can't let this thing block other beautiful blessings that may be coming my way. I'm letting this go for me. This ain't got shit to do with you. You know what I mean? And, you know, and then again, it's just, again, I just stress, like, to any young artist that, you know, hear this, or anyone that, you know, that listens to this interview, man, have conversations with the people you work with, because if the thing that you're doing, if it's successful, you know what I mean? God willing, if the thing that you're doing ends up being successful, you're going to spend more time with these people than you're going to spend with your actual blood fucking family.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's
I
right.
spent more time in the 8 months of us
Doing this
recording
record.
this record. Man, me and my wife would joke, like, baby, it's nice to see you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because
I'm back.
we would just see each other like, oh, hey, you know, how was your day? Like, we became kind of like just passing, you know, ships in the night or whatever. And, you know, if you're doing a thing that's really good, you're going to spend more time with the people you're working with than the people who may be your blood family. So have those conversations, man. Really get to know who you're dealing with.
Continue to have them.
Yeah, and keep it, because it changes. And that's the thing that also is just, I think, gets lost in a lot of just, you know, when you get into businesses or whatever, someone's idea that they had when they first started, it may be something totally different later on. And you have to be ready to accept that and work with that. And you can't get mad at a person because I used to believe this thing when we started, but now I have a totally different belief. You got to give people room to grow. And that's something that at 22, 23, you have no fucking clue how to articulate that. You know what I'm saying? That shit is rough.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like little brother is really big brother now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
when you think about it, you know, for people listening who, again, I always like for people who know of little brother to learn more, and for people who don't even know to learn. Like with Ninth Wonder, you know, is it, you know, just breaking it down, is it he's busy that he didn't come back in on a project, or is it like still, is it an issue with him? Like,
it's not an issue.
I love to.
So conspiracy theory again.
Okay.
So in my conversations,
let me hear the conspiracy theory.
In my conversations with, you know, people that are fans of Little Brother. Also, when I talk to Pete, because I don't feel, at least I didn't see a definitive reason. Actually, I tweeted when you announced whatever that when you announced the album was coming out. I think I had posted it, reposted it, and I tagged him, and I'm like, oh shit. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like a day later, I was like, oh, I don't see nobody saying the third. I'm like, oh shit, how do you untag? You know what I mean? You know, I was like, I could have texted you. I could have texted you. And I was like, no, I'm gonna let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So all right. So the theory that I came up with was like, all right,
give me your conspiracy.
Rhapsody's album just came out.
Okay.
If you look at timeline of how albums are created.
Okay.
For those who don't know, potentially it could be 8 months, let's just say 6 months to a year.
Okay.
So let's just say if you go back into the timeline, I was thinking maybe he was busy with his label stuff that he's doing, like his own artists or whatever, and it just didn't line up to what you guys were doing.
Nah.
And whatever have you. I even told Pete that. I was like, maybe
conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory.
All right, well,
conspiracy theory debunked.
And part of that was also you want to think positive shit too. You know, it would hurt me to know it was more than being busy because I'm such a fan. So I'm like, he was busy doing rap.
Because you had bad ribs at the house the last time.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So listen, man. So this is what it was, man. Just to clear that up.
And to further state, there's no issue.
And then a few days back, he shouted y'all out.
That was bullshit.
And he promoted
that was bullshit. That was the get in front of the story. That was bullshit. Okay.
Damn.
Actual facts, nigga. This is how it went down. So we started recording. Well, after we did the show, the three of us, we started, and I'm making this like as brief as I can, and just so it's just convoluted. Sure. So, but bullet point. So the three of us sat down. What do you want to do? How you feel about it? You want to do a record? Cool. Ninth says, yo, cool. I'm with it. I want to be a part of everything. I want to be a part of it this time. If we're going to do it, I want to be a part of everything, every show, everything. I want to be a part of it all. Okay, cool. We're with it. Let's do it. So we start recording. Man, and just to make a very long story short, we start recording, we get into it, and the beats he was sending just weren't really speaking to us. And I'll never go on record and say the beats were bad. It's art. It's subjective. Something that may not speak to me
At the moment.
Right. True.
Right.
It may speak to you, and you can make the record of your fucking career on that beat, but it just wasn't speaking to us. So I go to him and I have a conversation, and I say, look, man, I want us to bring other producers in on this project. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
He's like, nah, I don't want to do that. And I'm just like, okay. You know, because, I mean, if the album is called Homecoming, what am I coming home to? And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, well, nigga, you coming home to the home that we maintained while you was AWOL. That's what you coming home to. But I just let it sit. And so I call back, you know, I get on the phone because, again, this time around for me, I made it an effort to listen more than I spoke. I'm like, I really want to just let me hear you out before I'm be slow to judgment or anger or whatever. Let me listen. So I call him back and I say, listen, man, I just wanted to have a conversation about this. I said, you not wanting other producers on this album pisses me off. And let me explain to you why. I said, and the best analogy I can give is like, say your dad leaves the family, right? Your dad leaves the family for whatever reason. He feels he was forced out, he was pushed out, whatever. But your pops leaves the family. So now it's 15 years later, and your pops wants to come back to the family. And that's fantastic. The family is great about it. They're like, word up, welcome back. As long as you understand you're coming back to a different family. The family you left is not the same family you're coming back to. Mama done got remarried, done had new kid. So you coming back trying to tell the stepdaddy how many seats he can have at graduation, nigga, get the fuck out of here. You coming back and saying, you know, trying to say like, you can come back and participate and you can come back and we can figure out what this new framework looks like together. But fuck out of here with this, all right, kids be home by midnight shit.
So
you know what I mean?
The only thing is,
let me continue.
Oh, my bad.
Well, let me tell you, and I welcome it anyway.
Yeah, go for sure.
So anyway, bro. So we, you know, that becomes a thing. So we worked through that. You know, he didn't want other producers on the album. Then it became a thing of, well, when we tour, you know, what if I just do the festival dates and Flash do the regular dates? And I was just like, dude, no. Like, if we're gonna do this, either you're all the way in or you're all the way out. And if there's any reason why you can't do that or you want, I mean, let's talk about it. But this is the exact same problem we ran into 10 years ago when we became a duo. And for me, it just became a very simple thing of, look, for something to happen twice the exact same way, one time is a glitch, 2 times is a feature.
Wow. Bars.
It ain't nothing else. I see your authentic self. I see what you're about. I see who you're about, and I can accept that. And in my acceptance of that, I feel comfort in walking away from you completely and leaving that alone, because I just don't need just that narcissistic energy in my life.
And once we decided to start over, we told him, you can keep, you know, you can take your beats back, whatever. Like, we're going to actually start over.
Yeah. So we got like 3 songs in, you know, we did like 2-3 records with him. And once that happened, once we saw where he was with it, we was just like, nah, we're not doing this again. Like, you take your beats, you do what you do, but we ain't doing this no more. And, you know, we started the record over again. Like, we was like, fuck it, I will rebuild. I will start from scratch and build something that I got faith in rather than doing this again. Cause for something to happen the exact same way. And I can say this, and, you know, we had this conversation, you know, the key difference here is that with me and Pooh, when we had problems, it was based on misunderstanding and miscommunication. With us and Ninth, the decision to just totally part ways from that, it was the exact opposite. It was based on a complete and total clear communication.
And understanding.
I understand exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand exactly what you're about. So I can walk away with that. And I just want to, you know, stress that. And then the only reason why I'm even discussing this, and it's a few times, you know, that I've even, like, we was on, and we didn't even have plans to talk about this whole thing, but couple things happened, man. Like, we were at Primo, like, last night. We was at headquarters, and Primo was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Yo, I mean, I gotta say, you know, I was disappointed, you that he wasn't on the cover.
Good. That's a good impersonation.
Thank you.
Like
I
that.
tried. and I was like, hold up. And Primo's show is he music. He don't even do a lot of talking.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, hold up. I said, Preem. I said, listen, brother. For you to be who you are, for you to be a hip hop pioneer, and to say you're disappointed, nigga, that fucks with me. And you have every right to be disappointed. But send that letter to the correct mailbox, brother. We made every effort to do this shit right, to do this, to make this equitable.
Do it together.
Together, the three of us, we made every effort to be amenable and, kind and open. We made every effort to do it with him. But once we saw that it wasn't going to be able to be done in that way, and I stress this 100%, I say this loud and clear, there's no beef. There's just clarity.
Now, the only thing I would add to that is kind of
give it to me, brother. Let's go.
If you look at all of the past albums, you've had other producers on it as well. It almost look like he's the overseer, right, on his executive producer.
Who better to have?
And he's gonna have his tracks on there.
That's
and you're gonna have
here
your
is the thing.
Minds on there. You're gonna have your Crisis. You're gonna have.
But this is the thing about that.
Different flavors and spices on it. You know what I mean?
And this is another thing. Like Tay and I, as far as Tay and I, like we never really talked about a lot about how Little Brother was able to function, right? You just saw Little Brother, and then you assumed or presumed whatever it is you thought how it happened. But the truth of the matter is, like, Little Brother has, for all intents and purposes, been Tay and I since, like, during the Minstrel Show, not after, during. And the real producer of Little Brother post the listening has been Tay. Like, he put the Minstrel Show together. Put Get Back together. Like, he put those records together. Chillin' Circuit, 1.5, Separate But Equal. Like, he put those records together. And it's us. It's been us, as far as Tay and I going through, and we've been A&R-ing them projects. Like, we've been combing, like, Get Back is when we started having more than one, just ninth. Like, we went through and got in touch with them producers, went to Detroit and sat with Denon. I called Mick Boogie at the time, Mick Boogie. Now he's Mick. He's gentrified.
Shout out to Mick.
Shout out to gentrified.
Yeah. It was me reaching out to him to get Lil Wayne number and talking to Wayne. So we A&R'd those projects, and it's just like, people had this idea that he was the, like you said, the exec producer. That was us, bro. Like,
I had a thought in this album, you know what I'm saying? Because, and it's one of those things you just realize where it's like, the key takeaway that I took in all this is just that if you don't tell your own story, you leave room for other people to tell it for you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why these questions come about.
No, yeah, and I welcome them because, again, these are things that we never want discussed. It was never, I was the real producer, Little Brother. Nah, Little Brother, the group is bigger than any individual. So it wasn't that. But the problem comes in when people start discounting what you did and people start devaluing, and it's like, hold up, nigga, y'all niggas got me fucked up, like, for real. And so my thing was, I remember, like, years ago, one of my favorite music autobiographies is Miles Davis's joint. And he would always put, he talks about that period in his career where he would always put directions in music by Miles Davis on his album covers. And I thought that was like the wildest shit. But, in his book, he talks about, he was like, I wanted my listeners to know that no matter who was producing it, if it was T.O. Macero, if it was whoever, regardless of who the producer was, this is my shit. You can take any trumpet player you want, put them in the studio with that same producer. You're not walking out with Kinda Blue.
What you walking out with, I'm walking out.
Yeah, you're not walking out with Sketches of Spain, because that's my shit. And we actually thought about doing that for a moment, you know what I'm saying, direct or something like that on the cover. But once we saw the album, I was like, that shit's too clean. We gotta leave it alone. But it was just one of those things. And even when they were talking, when we put it out and, I had people ask me, they was like, yo, so, because, that's the way it is now. Oh, who are your features? Who are your producers? Yeah. And I told you straight up, I said, listen, we were blessed to work with incredible producers on this album, brothers that I hold near and dear to my heart. But the two most important producers are on the cover. This is our shit. you can take the same production lineup we had on May the Lord Watch and take any two niggas in the world you want to. You ain't walking out with May the Lord Watch.
And that's what I always tell. I'm sure to tell people that when people's one of the comments they always have is, and it's a good compliment when they say, "Yo, did this sound like a Little Brother album?" I be like, "Yeah, nigga, because Little Brother's on it."
Right.
Like,
you know what I mean? So
and I say that, and I gotta, just gotta make this clear because people, they don't think things through. Yeah. This is not to take away from what we did do together with
the three of us. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't for his beats, you may have never heard a Phonte, or if it wasn't for Phonte, you may have never heard his beats. So I would never take that away. Like that isn't going anywhere. Like, we're connected for life, so because of that. But when you say this sounds like a Little Brother album, it's because Little Brother is on it.
I'm gonna take over Premium P show real quick because
let's go.
He's on that mailbag.
I'm enjoying the mailbag.
Close out the show, but I just want to get this last thing in.
Sure, brother. Let's go.
The tweet that went off on the 20th, a few days ago.
Yeah.
It said, listening to this Little Brother album and this Phonte nigga sound like Drake.
That was
going on?
all right. What? That was a troll. No, it was a troll. Okay, it was a troll. But I still just,
but the thread is crazy because
yeah,
it's like you don't even have to respond. You just watch.
Yeah, you just see the yes.
You want to just elaborate on?
Yeah, that? It was it was one of those things where listen, man, I'm blessed that in the art that we made, you never know where it's gonna go. Once you release something, it no longer belongs to you; it belongs to the world, and you never know how that influence is gonna show up and who it's gonna hit. So I'm blessed and thankful that artists like Drake and Drake, Kendrick, you know what I'm saying, all like Cole, like all these brothers were able to see something in what we did and kind of take it to the next level. You know what I mean? And, there's the thing, again, man, people expect, I think there's always been an expectation for like you to be upset, for me to be, oh man, that nigga took your spot. Nah, dude, listen, what's for me is for me. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's this book, I read, I do a lot of reading, but, there's a book I read like a year or so ago called The Red Queen. And it's about, evolutionary biology, and it talks about the guy, he is super, super like science. Like it's fucking brainy as shit. And he uses a lot of words to like make these like, very simple observations. But one of the things he says is that really spoke to me. Every success contains the seeds of its overthrow. Every success contains the seeds of its overthrow. So what that means is anytime that you succeed, anytime that you create something great, you're essentially setting the stage for your replacement.
Damn.
There's something with you doing Premium Pete, you know what I'm saying? With y'all doing this podcast. There's somebody who's listened to this podcast and is inspired by it, and they're eventually going to take some things from your podcast and mix it with their shit. And they're going to create something bigger than your podcast.
Sure. Did with the Combat Jack.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
With the podcast.
Yeah. And you know what I mean? And listen, and there's nothing, that's not meant to be like nihilistic or just depressing. That's just nature. That's how life goes on. That's evolution. You know what I mean? So for me, brother, listen, how would you think, when Michael Jackson made it, you think Jackie Wilson was somewhere like, fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Could have been.
Right? Maybe he was. Who knows? But it's just like, dude, that's evolution in art. That's just evolution in life. So to me, once again, to see the seeds of something go, the something that I did, damn near 20 years ago, for it to still ring off and resonate 3 generations later, dude, what more can you ask for as an artist?
Yeah.
For your stuff to live on in that way, for you to, for you to be, I had a moment not too long ago where I was doing this event. It was in Chicago, and it was this girl, she came up to me and she was like, yo, my mother loves the foreign exchange. I love Little Brother. And my daughter loves your video on Sesame Street. Dude, to be able to have to ring off. Like, nigga, that's some Ron Isley shit.
That's special.
Nigga, I got a hit in every decade, nigga. You know what I'm
Nigga,
saying?
that's some Fat Joe shit.
That's
nigga.
Fat Joe, right? That's Fat Joe. Like, I got
That is
hits for
longevity,
everybody.
man.
That's longevity.
Bruh.
And so you can't, like, bro, how can, when you've done something like that, for that to resonate, how can you be mad? Like, how can you be mad? These rhymes I wrote in my fucking car. Me and Pooh used to go to the car and write together. Them rhymes I put together in my fucking Nissan in college, you know what I mean, are still resonating with people today. Come on, man. Like, what is it to be mad about?
My last question for Pooh. I know we're about to wrap up.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina. I feel like quietly they just been, all the artists has been planting their flag in hip hop without too much rah-rah, but they definitely making noise. You got from back in the day, obviously Petey Pablo, you guys, you know, Cole.
Shout out my nigga, the Baby.
Dreamville,
That's my man.
And the Baby
That's
and
my nigga.
Rhapsody and so on and so forth. You've jumped into the management aspect
Right.
of this shit, and you got an artist named Luke that
Right.
signed to Dreamville.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Listen, before you answer that, I have to interject.
Yeah.
Let me just say this.
What's up?
Pooh is one of the greatest A&R men I've ever known.
Mm.
Pooh is quietly, he was responsible for Darian Brockington, who sings on our album.
Yep.
He, we all went to school together, but Pooh was the first one to take him in the studio and work with him. And I heard him and I was like, shit, he's dope. And we started working. Pooh was responsible for introducing me to K-Dot. He was responsible, on his Delightful Bars album. He had like verses from K-Dot, back when he was K-Dot before he was Kendrick. Pooh was responsible for, King Mez, the role he played on Dre's Compton album. Pooh was the connector that made that happen. Like, he is, so when he started doing his thing, I was just like, dude, that is perfect for you. Like, that's a perfect line for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I just want that to be known. And I let this brother, so I'm gonna back out.
When I first heard Luke, it was I forget what the name of the record is. He was like in the street.
Oh, that's
riding a bike. I'm like,
Still Slumming.
who the fuck is this? And then I did my backstory. I'm like, who manages who? I'm like, oh shit. And then
Pooh manages a bunch. That's one thing
Okay.
I think people, have lost their mind and forgetting that. Okay, Little Brother didn't come back, but that doesn't mean Phonte wasn't doing things.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean
exactly.
Phonte wasn't in Hollywood.
Yeah, man.
Or Pooh wasn't managing or writing songs or doing things or basically, making some bread. You know what I mean? That's the thing. I think people
when you
forget.
start out managing, you ain't making no bread. But
Oh, you make
managing Bruno Mars.
you lending man, you lending bread.
Straight up.
the crazy thing, like, I got into management, man. Like, now my business partner, but former manager Doe, he told me
Big
before.
Doe.
Big dog.
Big Joe, Doe. He told me before, he was like, dog, if you ever took it seriously, I think you would be a dope manager. At the time, I was like, nigga, I don't want to hear that shit. I'm still trying to show niggas I'm nice. So, so he instilled that in me early, and I noticed a lot of younger guys, like, they would, because I had no problem rocking with the younger guys. Like, I was cool. And I noticed they started coming to me for advice and mentorship. And then my man Rich Bartell, he told me, he's like, yo, man, you got to reinvent yourself. He said, I ain't talking about change your name, become another rap. Like, no. You ain't got to do the Titty Boy, the 2 Chainz. You know what I'm saying? Transformation.
yourself.
Nah. He was like, you reinvent yourself through younger people. And so he started, putting that in my mind. And in 2012, my guy, the mighty DJ DR, he actually introduced me to Luke's music. He was like, yo, this kid from North Carolina, he from Charlotte, he crazy, his name Luke. So he let me hear his project, and it was just something about him that I heard that I was like, yo, this kid is, I think with the right tools, that nigga could be an amazing mechanic. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, we ended up meeting, and we did some records together. And I wanted to help him out, but he had management at the time, and I didn't want to overstep my bounds. You know what I'm saying? So he came and told me one day, he was like, yo, man, I think my situation with her done ran its course. I want to make a change.
He was keeping his eyes on you, and you was watching him too. Like,
Of course. But once again, I stepped back because I'm not overstepping bounds.
Sure.
Like, so I said, look, man, we can do this, but you have to be a man and go talk to her face to face and let her know what you doing. Like, I'm not gonna do that for
job.
you,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna do nothing with you until I know you've done that. You know what I'm saying? And so he finally, after a few months, he finally went and had the conversation with her, and when we ended up rocking, and it was crazy because Cole had his eye on him the whole time. Like, he had his eye on him for like at least 2 years. But he didn't, from my understanding, he didn't want to mess with his old management. So soon as he told Cole, and I mean soon, like a week after he told Cole, yo, because Cole had held up his that Charlotte West 1996, West 1996 Part 2. He was about to put it out, and Cole told him to hold it. Like, yo, let me help you with that. Hold on. So a week after, Cole told him, like, yo, I switched management. I got Big Pooh as my manager now. Cole was like, yo, get you a lawyer. I want to send you some paperwork. And that began the Dreamville journey. And it was just like, I was like, oh shit, we in the mix now. Like we all the way in the mix.
Thing.
And
That's
so
dope that Cole felt like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a more comfortable conversation.
But that means something. That means something.
And so from there, I ended up, after that, my guy Black Soul, me and Black Soul been working together since 2011. And, you know, we were just talking one day, and he was like, yo, man, like, I made a call for him, like, about something. And then I ended up getting him over there with Dre. Like, he got a master class in engineering, a master class in putting together songs, all that. Like, he was over there with Dre for like a year and a half, and he was like, yo, man, yo, what you think about rocking with me? Like, and I was like, nigga, we already rock together. He was like, nah, in official capacity. So I ended up getting him, and then the crazy thing, the youngest artist I got, T. Smith, he's from Selma, Alabama. And he hit Lute up for a feature one day. And I just had this feeling about people, like, I never respond to shit I don't want to respond to. I'm not clicking on your link, so whoever listens to this, you can send me all the links you want. I will not click on that shit. But it was something about him, and I never clicked on his link. He sent the email to the company account we have, and he sent it, and he was like, yo, I want to do a feature, whatever, and whatever. I was like, listen, bro, I basically emailed like, this is not how you present yourself. Like, I understand your eagerness. I see what you're trying to do. I see what you're about, but this is not how you do it.
You're not telling me how you're adding value.
Yeah, and I was like, so I gave him a step. I said, this is how you send out an email. And he hit me back and was like, yo, bro, I appreciate that shit. Like, I don't think anybody would have responded to me that way. Now, mind you, I never heard his music. I didn't even care. Big Doe ended up hitting me because he went through the email. You know, we business partners. We managed Lute together. He went through the email. He was like, yo, you might want to go listen to this kid. So I went and listened to him. I was like, oh, shit, he dope. So I started talking to him. But then I just was like, at the time, I was like, man, he just got too much going on. Like, and so I kind of backed off of him. And he wouldn't allow me to back off. That nigga hit me probably 2 times a week. Every week for about a year. That's how long, for a year. He wouldn't let me forget who he was. And finally, I was like, man, listen, I thought he was dope already, but I was like, yo, his persistence, I can't deny
you can't
that.
Coach tenacity like
you
that.
cannot
you got it
coach
and you
it. And he I'm talking about, he stayed on my ass, pause, about working with him. And finally, I just like, man, you know what, bro? I like your spirit. Like, that nigga, he told me, he said, nigga, I'm going to be somebody, and you're going to be right here with me. He told me that.
Wow.
And I was like, dawg, I love your spirit, man. I love your energy. Fuck it, let's do it. And we've been rocking for, like, probably the past, like, year. You know what I'm saying? Just getting him ready. So, you know, I wanted to make sure I got all my artists in there. So,
Of course.
look out for T. Smith.
Come on.
Black Soul.
Come on.
Lute. And, of course, my guy Praise. You know what I'm saying? Producer
Shout out to
Praise.
Praise, man.
So,
You know,
yeah, man.
Listen, Little Brother, may the Lord watch. It's been received real well. Watching some of hip hop's heavyweights show love and be thankful, be happy and be proud that the joint came back out. Here's the bigger question.
Sure.
What's next?
Man, next, definitely we got tour.
Tour's coming up.
Tour's
We
coming.
gonna hit this
Internet
road,
city
baby.
near you. Buy
the road.
tickets. Show the fuck up.
Yeah,
buy a
go
glass of
buy them
Malbec.
tickets, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't-
Yeah, get them tickets. I know, we got it. Like, it's in stages. Like, you have to show because, again, like, we haven't been. It's been like, you know, almost 10 years since we've been at it. So you have to reprove yourself. So we did the first part by the record of showing people like, okay, these niggas still got it. But then we have to show them on the road. It's like, nah, it's not just the record. We will still sit your favorite artist the fuck down on stages. You know what I mean? So now that's the next part of it. It's like, nah, we can still
Have the
bring
fire marshal in the building.
it. We can still bring it. So that's what's next, man. We got shows coming. Check us out on just all our socials, Little Brother NC, on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Fontigolo on Twitter and Instagram.
Rapper Big Pooh, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Yeah, we got that coming. What's next, man, is just, we've just reactivated the brand. So now the most exciting part to me is that we can take this in whatever direction we want in our own time and in our own space. It was really hard when we first started talking and we first got cool again. There was like a cloud that hung over everything. So if I was working on a solo record, if I just wanted to get Pooh on the record, like, yo, my nigga, you just jump on this. Oh, shit. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if he does that now, it becomes, oh shit, is Little Brother coming back? Is it? So now we're in a space where, because we've reintroduced ourselves in the way we want to, we can take it in any direction we want. And that shit is so freeing. If we just want to just let a single go, just throw something out. If we want to just do a record, with Griselda or some shit, whatever, like we can do that. And there's not this big expectation or of what's next.
So
we can just exist.
The fact that you singled them out.
Man, I love them niggas.
But does that mean?
Shout out to Benny.
We don't got
West Side Conway.
No, nothing happened. If it happened,
Buffalo.
I would tell you.
Buffalo, this motherfucker, east side of Buffalo. Man, yo, shout out
They
to
don't
the
want
boys,
Phonte
man.
and Big Pooh talking
Shit.
greasy, man.
Well, nah, I mean, listen.
Nah, we gonna do what we gonna do.
We
They
gonna be
what they do.
But I don't mean that. I'm just saying just greasy. Like, just
Nigga,
that.
listen, man. Look, that hip hop is talking greasy.
Yeah,
You
it
gotta
is,
be
it
able to
is.
rap. Like, that's the basis. So now, man, listen, I love them dudes, man. Love what the fuck they doing. Just everything from like Brandon and just the music, the bars. Like, man, Benny is a fucking poet.
Yeah, he's a problem.
Love that
man.
dude.
Yep.
Benny
Problem.
Conway, that's my nigga.
West Side
Like,
Gun.
it was one. I think I was gonna try to get some West Side ad libs.
Yeah.
On like,
Hey,
yo, yeah, like, boom, 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 boom. I was gonna hit West some ad. I was like, you know what? Let's just wait and let's do a real.
I'm
thing.
nicer than these niggas, man.
Right.
Yeah, he's nasty.
Love the
I love
brothers,
him, man.
Oh yeah, love.
You know
them
what?
brothers.
You know what? I said something before. I said little brother became big brother, and I mean that. Like, just like, to be honest with you, it's like just from following both of y'all paths, just little brother in general. Like the way, even just now, just hearing, there's so much lessons. You know what I mean? There's so much knowledge.
Thank you, man.
Like even like, and just to be a better person, just to be a better brother, just to be a better friend, a better person. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I'm dead serious.
Nah,
like,
man, appreciate it. I just one thing I hope, man, I said it earlier, man, we didn't have mentors when we started in this, man. And I mean, we got them now, but we didn't when we first started. And even if for that kid out there or them kids out there that may not have, mentors that they can call or whatever. No, I'm not about to give out my phone number so you can call me. But I hope that they can hear things in our music that can hopefully help them until they can get that mentor that they need to help them along, man. Because I believe mentorship is so important because we don't get them life lessons in school. There's nobody to tell them, hey, bro, you might want to get your business when you get started. You know what I'm saying? Run shit through your business or, tax man gonna come and you gonna owe him and he gonna want his bread not now, but right now.
The IRS don't believe in net 30, nigga.
Nah, nigga.
They want their money immediately.
They be
Fuck
leaving
your
net
feelings.
now, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So just different things, man. And I hope that when people hear, just what we're talking about, hear the interviews, the songs, whatever, that they can pick up something. And Tate, he talked about this before. Like this is hopefully giving artists like a YBN Corday and a Lute and so forth and so on a peek around the corner. So it's like, yo, when I get to that point in my career or that age, I can still be dope. I can still show niggas I got these bars, and I can still be successful. I don't have to chase a trend or still try to appeal to kids or whatever. It's like when I get to that point in my career, that's something I can look at and say, yo, they're showing me.
There's a model for that.
There's a model for that. So, hey, if still little brother, but That the nigga called us Big Brother yesterday. That's funny.
Right. He was coming out the train.
Some
It was just
dude, we was coming off
shit,
the train.
That's Big Brother. Like,
Yeah.
He said that probably shit by accident. huh?
Right.
Said it by
Oh,
accident,
shit.
but that 40 and slip, man. He's like, oh shit, it's Big Brother.
Hey,
yo.
listen, man. Internets. Okay, I know Combat watching down on us on this one is something special. Little brother coming back. Not only that, just in general, just man, it's just special to see, man. Your contributions, honestly, to this game. I always call hip hop a puzzle, and y'all a piece of the puzzle.
Thank you
Man,
so
that's-
much.
That's how I look
Thank
at
y'all
it, man.
For having it.
And
Thank you.
yeah, most definitely. Listen, internets. May the Lord watch.
Over UND, between UND, while we're absent
Little
one from
brother.
another.
Available on all platforms.
Vinyl coming soon. Vinyl is coming.
Vinyl soon.
Vinyl soon.
Tour is out there. Check them and see where they're at. Pull up on them. Grab a glass of Malbec and pull up on them.
Yes.
And grab me a glass while you at it.
And you know, at the same time, you never know what the fuck is gonna happen with Little Brother.
Yeah, man.
don't,
We
man.
still look, man. Listen, we just happy to be in this space. We're able to create on our own terms, and I just thank God for just giving us a chance to get it right and do it the right way. So,
Little Brother forever.
yes,
Peace.
indeed.
Forever.
Cheer. Internets, if you enjoyed that episode, then hit me up. That's right. Email me at thepremiumpshow@gmail.com. Again, that's thepremiumpshow@gmail.com. If you're an advertiser, any big company, small company, startup, whatever it is, you want to advertise on the Premium Peep Show, hit me up. Email thepremiumpshow@gmail.com, and we'll get to working. Okay? And if you have a suggestion or you want to hear a certain guest on the show, whatever it is, okay? You know, you could at Premium Pete Show on Twitter or Instagram. Or for the last time, I'll tell you, well, I'm not going to, it's not the last time. Email me, thepremiumpshow@gmail.com, and let's get to working. Cheer. 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 Cheer.